For the introduction, the era of the Renaissance, spanning roughly from the 14th to 17th century, was a transformative period in European countries, and it marked by revival of art, culture, science, and humanism. Originating in Italy and later spreading across the Europe, it signaled a departure from the medieval era and emphasized a discovery of classical knowledge from ancient Greece and Rome.
From the military aspect, the first point is lords began to face difficulty in getting services from their subordinates. Next, vassals preferred to pay money to their lords for protection rather than servicing in the armies. The third point is lords or king preferred money to pay for professional soldiers who were more trained and disciplined. And the last one is introduction of new techniques and weapons reduced dependency on individual valor.
In terms of economic aspect, the first one is increased urbanization lead to the increase in power and wealth of the merchant class. Second, the changing economic structure made the restraining protection that the feudal system had once offered no longer reliable. And the third aspect is that cities began to be independent of both church and feudal lords, while the middle class began to function more similar to that of small-scale entrepreneurs. And for the fourth aspect, increase in trade and commerce encouraged a reliable supply of manufactured goods, in which it turn led to the increase of control of land, labor, and capital by the merchant class. And for the last, in the economical aspect, therefore, the entire feudal custom and tradition were slowly began to be replaced by the market and the search for money profits.
In the social aspect is, first, the Black Death epidemic reduced the number of laborers and affected the production of agricultural products in manors. Second, feeling of dissatisfaction increased and serf-peasants who used to live in manors under the protection of lords then began to move and live in town. Third, laws were made to tie serf-peasants to the lord but not successful as more serf-peasants ran to work as paid laborers in other manors. Fourth, this increased poverty problem as peasants and serfs were usually poor and they live on the street and cannot be controlled. Last aspect of social is increase of communication broke down. The isolated manor assisted the rise of town and facilitated the emergency of the working class.
For the administrative aspect, through time, the feudal system became more complex, more rigid, and more open to abuse. Fifth, to become hereditary and use of paid soldiers, reduced the personal link between vassal and lord. The idea of ruling based on land ownership was no longer accepted. European kings were forced to rearrange their country's constitution, such as landlords served as the advisory body to kings. Religious clergies who were expert in church and civil laws formed a legal panel for criminal and civil cases. Thus, the original feudalism system, which was based on a structured personal relationship, began to undergo change.
The conclusion, the Renaissance era was a time of great change and creativity that shaped the modern world. It brought new ideas in art, science, and culture, leaving a lasting impact that still inspires people today. Idea and the influence of the Renaissance spread all over Europe and set the standard today.